Speaker, education remains the surest path to victory over ignorance, poverty, and inequality. This is self-evident in the bold initiatives we continue to take to improve access, affordability, quality, and relevance at all levels.
The ministry has a vision, and that vision is to prepare all Ghanaians by providing them with the requisite education, the requisite skills, so they can participate in the socio-economic development of the country.
And in doing so, the ministry formulates and implements policies using the 20 or so agencies that operate under its ambit.
The main functions or mandates of work is to determine the examinations in the public interests, conduct such examinations and award certificates of comparable respectability as those of international examining bodies.
The National Teaching Council was set up by Act of Parliament 778/2008 to set the framework for teacher professional development from the pre-service and also in-service.
Some of the core functions of the Ghana Education Service are: 1, to implement government policies on education; 2, to ensure that all children of school-going age have access to education; 3, to ensure quality education service delivery to all and sundry.
Center for National Distance Learning and Open Schooling, an agency of the Ministry of Education. We came into existence January 2010.
The National Accreditation Board has 3 main functions. It accredits institutions, that is institutional accreditation, and it also accredits their programs, which is the program accreditation. And the third function is to evaluate certificates and establish their equivalences.
The National Council for Tertiary Education were established in 1993 by an Act of Parliament, Act 454. The essence was for this council to see to the proper administration of tertiary education institutions in Ghana. So the core functions of the council, they are: 1, to advise the Minister of Education on all matters relating to tertiary education, and 2, to inquire into the financial needs of tertiary institutions.
At the Ministry of Education in Ghana, we are in charge of, as I said, all levels from the primary level through primary, secondary, to the university levels.
The ministry provides oversight for both public and private institutions. We have over 20,500 kindergartens and primary schools, over 13,000 junior high schools, about 840 senior high schools, about 186 technical and vocational training institutions, 44 colleges of education, 9 public universities, and 60 private universities. So this shows you the scope of the institutions and the work that the ministry does.
We must say with our heads up and with a great pride that since 2008, Ghanaian students have been sweeping the Excellence Award that is given to candidates who sit for the WAS, at the international level. From 2011, Ghana took the first and the second, and then somebody else took the third from Nigeria. But since then, Ghana has always been taking first, second, third, and I think that it is an achievement that we should celebrate, and it also tells the quality of education that we have in this country. We may have our problems though, but this is a clear indication that something is being done right somewhere.
The National Teaching Council has undertaken several activities to promote the professional development of teachers and the field of teaching as a whole. First, we have the pre-service teachers. We have developed a beginning teacher's handbook so that every teacher in Ghana would know what they need to do in order to integrate into the classroom. Then beyond that, we have also developed career progression competency framework for all teachers in Ghana.
Infrastructure development at the basic and secondary school levels has been a part of government strategy at increasing equitable access. These include the rehabilitation of dilapidated structures, removal of schools under trees, construction of district offices, construction of classroom blocks and dormitories, rehabilitation and equipping of science resource centers, and the construction of senior high school projects, including the rehabilitation of existing senior high schools. Implementation of social intervention programs by government has also played a significant role in improving access to education. Among these are free textbooks and exercise books, free school uniforms, senior high school subsidies, subsidy for special schools, BCE subsidy, capitation grant, and recently the provision of school sandals to deprived children. The provision of significant amounts of teaching and learning materials by government continue to facilitate improvement in the quality of education.
We've been able to distribute about 12.5 million textbooks to basic schools, and this is a big achievement, and this has improved pupil textbook ratio.
In very recent past, I would say our major accomplishment have been focused on senior high school education. We have to date distributed to at least 562 senior high schools all over the country video recorded lessons for SHS 1, 2, and 3 in 5 subjects: English, mathematics, integrated science, physics, chemistry, and biology, which means we've covered the entire syllabus in these areas. I call it a major success or accomplishment because it is opportunity for the students to have the lesson played to them or to view teachers presenting the lessons to them and giving them a few practical examples at their own pace and in their own time, at their own convenience in their schools.
Now we have about 80 accredited public and private universities. Maintaining some semblance of quality is a great task. Yet NAB has managed to keep the system going, and well, up to now, no country has rejected certificates coming out of graduates in our system, and I believe that is a great accomplishment.
Well, the Council, I would say, has fulfilled its mandate very effectively as a buffer between the tertiary institutions and government. And in doing these things, we have established norms and standards for managing tertiary education institutions, and that also includes entry requirements. We have also, in the recent past, collaborated or liaised very well with development partners to support tertiary education administration. I'd like to mention the collaboration with the World Bank, for instance. We have had the Teaching and Learning Innovation Fund. That is over, and we are now in another phase of collaboration with the World Bank to establish the Africa Centers of Excellence.
The prospects are very good for higher education in Ghana. President Mahama appointed Professor Nana Ajinomoto-Agyemang to lead us in this ministry to carry out these significant interventions which have been going on over the last 3 years.
The way forward is to bring in the private sector to enhance education, because to us, once it is distance learning and the application of technology, it gives us the opportunity to have teachers or tutors from across board to come and be involved in presentation of lessons, in teaching and learning. So that is our hope and that is our way forward.
Well, the way forward is that all must put hands on deck to arrest examination more practice, to minimize it, if not eliminate it, to safeguard the integrity of the certificates that we issue.
Ghana Education Service has a very bright future, and the way forward, I say, is bright. Why, even recently, research from the university by one Professor Amedaye has indicated dramatic increase in the standard of education in Ghana from 2004 up to this time. Very dramatic increase.
The way forward for us is that every teacher would excel as a professional, and that they will also inculcate professional practices in their work.
It is important that the legislation, as I say, is streamlined so that we know where responsibility lies in every step of the process.
We are trying to develop attractive alternative options for tertiary education. The conversion of polytechnics to technical universities is one of such, to make polytechnic education skills-based and one that will be very attractive to both employers and to applicants.
Moving forward, we are going to continue with the initiatives that I have outlined. We are going to get very busy with the new university in the Eastern region. We are going to get very busy with the reforms at the colleges of education. We are also, we've identified 5 private colleges of education that we are absorbing and expanding, and we are seeking to at least build new ones from scratch. So that's going to be a very daunting task. We also will continue with legal reforms, amending the acts of the agencies under the ministry. But having said that, I must say that the tertiary sector in Ghana is a very robust one. You have very extraordinary councils who are running our universities, our polytechnics, our colleges of education, with very competent vice chancellors, principals, and rectors. You have the National Council for Tertiary Education, well established, the National Accreditation Board, fantastic gatekeepers. So when we are in the ministry, we are really rest assured that we have institutions that are very competent to manage the sector, to carry out the needed supervision and accreditation processes, to maintain standards and to ensure that at the end of the day, everybody is impressed with the results that we churn out.
We've had many ministers come and go. We've had many chief directors. We've had good teachers. We have good teachers in this country. We've had support staff. We have parents who are supportive, communities who support people. We're also grateful to the students themselves. A lot of them want to learn, they want to succeed. The country has produced many, many good professionals, who any country should be proud of. Okay, many, many professionals produced by our system. But we recognize that our system is not uniform. Okay, and what we want to do is to focus on the areas that are suffering. For example, our basic public schools. The children there are not any less bright. Okay, but supervision has to be intensified.
Education, as we all know, is a basic human right. It is a facilitator of peace and progress. It enables us to have a good livelihood. It facilitates the reduction of poverty and helps to secure our future as individuals and as a nation. And that is why education is very important, and that is why the work of the ministry must be supported by everybody.
So my final words are of gratitude to all staff. You know, I've mentioned directors, but I'm also mindful of drivers, I'm mindful of cleaners, I'm mindful of messengers, everybody. You know, everybody's role is important, and I think that is why Ghana has made these successes. We want to say thank you.